Hello, internet, YouTube, whatever I'm talking on
Hello.
at the time. But it's me, Dave Meow, back from the past, future, present, whatever. But today, I have...
Oh, yeah, I'm Kyle. Yeah, I'm Icecyrpt on YouTube. Nobody knows about me. I'm just kind of here.
Yeah, he's here, but he's cool. He's Q.
Maybe somebody thinks that.
So, Kyle, what's today's discussion about?
Oh, well, today, for no apparent reason, we're going to be talking about our first experience, because we are both big Sonic fans, for the most part. So, we're going to be talking about how we got into the franchise and our opinions on every canon game up to date. And
Right.
whatnot.
So,
Dave, why don't you start off, I guess?
okay, well, I'll go ahead and discuss how I first got into Sonic. It started, back when I was just a wee lad, and it was my 6th birthday. But, I had no idea what a Sega console was, and I think someone in my family told my parents to get a Super Nintendo because it was rad, and I kind of I guess most people, I started playing Mario first, but of course when my cousin turned 6, she got a Genesis, and sadly Sonic 1 wasn't my first game, but Sonic the Hedgehog 2 was, and I remember those days, just getting through Chemical Plant Zone at the age of 7. But I enjoyed it because I found that Sonic the colors were better. He was faster than Mario. He felt more hipster than Mario. Mario just seemed like the old man now that took forever.
Sonic was a hipster.
Yeah, so, Kyle, what got you into Sonic the Hedgehog?
Oh, when I was about 3, I believe, I was in my basement, and I don't know, I was just looking through some shelves because I was a curious little kid. But I found the box for the Sega Genesis, and it had a picture of Sonic on it, so, being a little kid, I was like, oh my god, he's so cool! Mom, what's this? And then my mom's like, well, I'll show you, honey. And my parents, they plugged it in and they showed me what it was, and I thought it was just the freaking coolest thing ever. And I was so bad at the game, I remember, because I purposely jumped off every cliff because I liked Sonic's dying animation. He flew upwards and he's like, oh. So,
because that was the right way at the time to play a Sonic game.
Basically, and I love, oh my god, the colors. I've always been obsessed with freaking colorful games and movies. Anything that has a lot of bright colors I love, so Sonic was freaking awesome at the time, and it still is.
Right. And, of course, I still don't own a single Sega system to this date, because I moved on with Nintendo. But, of course, things like emulators and things like that, I got a chance to go back and really play the classics. So,
Indeed.
because the first Sonic game I really owned, console-wise, was Sonic Adventure 2. Battle for the GameCube.
Oh yeah, that's a lot of people's first, I guess.
Of course, I believe Adventure wasn't that one of the launch titles for the GameCube when it came out?
I was it?
I want to say it was that.
I believe so.
Sonic Adventure 2, Pikmin, Super Smash Bros. Melee,
Yeah, because
and Luigi's Mansion were the launch games.
Yeah, because I remember when I was a kid, I had some gaming magazine, and it was advertising a bunch of stuff for the GameCube, this, it's a revolutionary new console and stuff, and how it was supposed to have, 3D built in, but that never fell through, I guess. And I remember seeing like Sonic Adventure 2 ads on this, like on the side and whatnot.
Right.
But
well, I guess we should really get to the more, topic of what we're talking about now.
Indeed. So, Sonic 1.
Sonic the Hedgehog. So, Kyle, what was your favorite moment from, Sonic the Hedgehog?
Sonic the Hedgehog 1. Favorite moment? I would say my favorite moment was just the beginning of the game, like Green Hill Zone. You really got like a sense that, it was a really happy, peaceful place, but you knew that, bad things were happening because there was all these mechanical machinery that was taking over. And apparently, I found this out just last year, is that Sonic 1 was actually supposed to be very environmental based, I guess. It was supposed to send out a message, I guess. I guess I wouldn't say that, but it was basically how the story was supposed to go was that you start out in Green Hill Zone and you go through all these, the levels progressively get more mechanical and overtaken by machinery.
I see what you're getting at.
And I guess you could still say that kind of holds true with Sonic 1, but I guess a little bit later through development they were like not figuring out, but I can't talk. It'd be nice if you could cut this part out, David. But I gotta think of what to say. I can't speak. God damn it.
Well, I'll let you think on it. Probably for me would be, first starting, you would hear the music in the background, and you're going for all this. It was a 2D background, but it felt amazing. How the old commercials were. Sega does, Nintendo don't. You had speed, and and like with Sonic, you could destroy a bunch of destroy 3 or 4 enemies in seconds, compared to Mario, who would take forever to jump on one enemy, run, jump on another one. But with Sonic, it was just amazing.
Yeah, and I don't know if you want to edit through this, David, but how the levels were supposed to progress is they were supposed to get more overtaken by machinery as the story went on. But through development, they discovered that halfway through the game, it got really boring after seeing all this machinery, and it's basically more of the same halfway through the story. So they changed the levels up so that you would go through a mechanical industrial level, and then you would maybe go to some kind of greenery resort-ish place.
Right.
Afterwards, so it would just keep it fresh. Really, there was a nice balance there.
And the mastermind behind Someone Who Wants a Machine Empire, I guess that would be, the number one villain for the Sonic franchise, Dr. Robotnik.
Dr. Eggman, now he's known as nowadays.
Yeah, but of course, back in the 90s, he was, this is Robotnik, and, dreams of an empire.
And he was a lot more menacing back then.
Yeah, and every time you got to the end of, of each act, of that stage, like when you got to the end of Green Hill, you would meet up with him, and then you would fight him, and then you would save the little critters at the end, and each time you would end up fighting him, he would he seemed to attach a different type of weapon or something to his pod gravitational device machine.
Exactly, and that's the kind of stuff that I like, and I like how they're bringing that back in the newer games too. How they would just have the regular Eggomatic machine, and then you would just insert that into a bigger robot, or just attach something to it.
Like people like Bowser for Mario, he just waits until the end. At least Eggman, goes in there and tries to do something about it. I mean, back in the old days.
Exactly.
I mean, yeah, Bowser did, that was the plot with Super Mario Brothers. Bowser would be there at the end of each castle, but after that, he was kind of, I'll just let either my children or my slave minions, attack that plumber, and then if they can't do it, I'll do it at the end. Where with Robotnik, yeah, he'll have robots, but yet he'll still, try to come in and is like, hey, bitch, this is my turf.
Basically. So then after about a year after Sonic 1, they released Sonic 2, since Sonic 1 was such a big success, of course, because it was...
So, of course, that was the first game I played, was Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
And that was a lot of people's first, I know.
And, of course, we got some really good, yet again, more good music from it, and the stages were good. And
everything was improved over the first game, which is how a sequel should be.
And with a sequel, we got, just like how Mario had Luigi, Sonic now has a partner, which was Miles Tails per Hour, or short for we'll just call him Tails.
He was so adorable back then.
He was, and Sonic the Hedgehog 2, came out with features like the 2-player kind of deal. Like one person would be like Sonic, one person would be Tails. You could like race for certain stages, or you could be just 2 players throughout the whole game, and whoever 2-player would just be the greatest meat shield ever.
Yeah, basically, if you pick up the controller in the single-player game, you'll play as Tails, but it's very hard to control. I guess not hard to control, but it's, the screen only follows Sonic, but Sonic moves too freaking fast for Tails to even catch up to him, so...
Right, because I remember I would play Sonic the Hedgehog 2 now with my nephew, and I would play as Tails, and he would go so far ahead that they, just cut me out, and then they'll eventually, have Tails fly in, and then I get control again.
Yeah.
But, what else about Sonic the Hedgehog 2 was there, Kyle?
Well, Sonic 2, it had a lot more levels. The levels were bigger, I believe.
Right.
And basically it made more of a story, I guess. They had I think that was the first game where they actually had kind of, cutscenes, I guess. Sonic 1 was very basic in terms of stories, we gotta stop Dr. Robotnik or whatever. I mean, you could say that it's the same about Sonic 2, but Sonic 2 does it in a more clever way, I guess. There's a lot, it's a simple story, but there's a lot packed in there.
Right, because in the story with this, this time, instead of just being on one place, this fight, finally takes you to space, which, brings you, the Death Egg.
Exactly, and that's one thing I really like about it.
Which, once you, defeat Robotnik again, you end up... Because the next game that will be coming out, that sequel actually follows, right from Sonic 2,
Yep, exactly. Sonic 2, it ended on a cliffhanger, which led into Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Or just Sonic 3, depending on how you look at it.